Hello, my name's Luke MacNeil. I am a member of the Blackstone Valley Art Association and the owner of MacNeil Media Group, a creative services company in Douglas, Massachusetts. I can be reached at luke@lukemacneil.com or through my website, www.lukemacneil.com. This first image here was taken in the backyard of a house that I used to own. So this was right before we sold the house to move into this new house in Douglas. I had to have the septic system replaced, and during that project, they parked this giant tractor in the backyard, and I felt like going outside and playing with my camera. So I threw my tripod up in a hole and I used the widest angle lens that I had at the time, and I made this image and was able to capture a little bit of the starlight in the background. This was in Uxbridge, Massachusetts, so there's not a whole lot of light pollution around. I had some really clear night skies back there, and that's how this image was born. This image we have here is in the Blackstone Valley. This is Uxbridge, Mass, behind where the Sassy Fox is. I'm not sure the name of this building, but I was just walking around back there trying to find images. I'm not sure who the man in this picture is, but he worked very well for the composition, and I like this image. It looks to me like the type of image that would, sit in a museum or win awards or something like that. It looks like a artsy kind of image. So that's why I chose this one. I hope you feel the same way. Here in this image, we have a picture of a decaying house. I think this house was in Minden, maybe, Mass. It's no longer there. It was torn down. But I drove by one day and I saw this scene and I had to pull over. So that's exactly what I did. I took a few shots of this house, and in the front there's a no trespassing sign. That was kind of hilarious considering. And also there's a mailbox just sitting out on the front steps. It wasn't on a post or anything. It was just a mailbox. So those elements aren't in this particular picture, but I liked this one better because of the tree, actually. I like the way that the tree, I don't know, it just looks kind of creepy. And I also enjoy the shading of the right side of the building, where it's all kind of mossy and just it looks old and worn. I like the texture, also in the shingles of the. I kind of like everything about this picture, honestly. So that's why it was selected. Of all the images here, and honestly, of all the images that I think I've ever taken, this is the one that disturbs me the most. And it's not because of the subject matter. I was walking around the streets of San Francisco. I was out there on business and I had my camera, and this was probably on one of the weekend days where I was just kind of exploring the city, looking for things to take pictures of. And this man walked in my path. Obviously, he's wearing no pants and two different socks, and it's an overall sad image. But that's not why it gets me. What bothers me about this picture is it's not that the more technical among you may notice how this man's out of focus. I didn't nail my focus. That's not what bothers me. What bothers me is that the focus that I did get, this woman in the background here, the way that she's looking at me, looking at him, I think is revealing, and it disturbs me because she's looking at me as though I'm exploiting the situation of this man because I'm clearly taking advantage of this situation. And that may be true. I'm not sure. I kind of struggle with it. I wasn't out looking for homeless men to exploit and take sad pictures of. I was just walking around trying to take pictures of the world, and this is something that happened. But every time I scroll through the pictures in my library and I come across this one, I wonder about that decision, and morally, if that's correct, if this is even an appropriate image to enter into something like this. But the show goes on. Here we have a fun image. This is a nighttime image, obviously. It was taken in the desert in a place called Rhyolite, Nevada. That's right near where they used to mine for borax, the cleaning stuff, like that powdery cleaning stuff with the mules. This is where all those mules were, or right around that area. Jen and I had traveled out to the southwest to explore it and take pictures of it, and we came across this area in the daytime, and it was full of these types of falling down buildings, and there were art installations there. When we showed up, it was probably 4 p.m., and there was a man in a little shack there that was playing a Native American flute, and he was selling them to tourists that came by. You may have seen I have a photo of a truck with the Milky Way behind it. It was at the same location. Anyway, we stayed out there the entire night and took photos of all the stuff that was there. These buildings we were playing with, adding light to. So we were out in the middle of the night. We had our cameras on tripods, and we were taking long exposure photographs. So we were getting the sky mostly. But in these buildings, we decided to throw our flashlights. So we just put our flashlight in the building and left it on, and then we took some exposures that way. So that's how the light is on in here. It's just a standard flashlight. There's also, if you look towards the left of the image, there's a bright blown out little line. That's a car that was driving by. So I caught a little bit of the only other person out on the road that day. And we have this plane going through the image, which I like. I think it adds something real to the image, because otherwise this might look like a composite. This could be a sky replacement type situation, but having that imperfection, I think, in the sky makes the image more real. This place is amazing, and I would definitely travel back there and recommend that if you're in Nevada at any point, if you go to Vegas for a conference or whatever, track this place down, because it is well worth the time and any expense it might take to get there. Thank you for looking at these images. I appreciate your time. I hope that you are able to get out this year and take some of your own images, and I'll see you around the creative circle.